Hi, hello, welcome to Summerween vlog part 2. What? I don't know if that makes any sense. Wednesdays are a struggle. It is Wednesday evening. It is like 8:30. Here we are. Summerween is still in full force. We are in the second half. I feel like I am losing my grip on reality just in general, not just because of this readathon or during this readathon, just like, you know, general feeling. If you were not here for the first part of this two-parter, I am currently in the middle of a book, like pretty much in the middle of the book. And it is The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig. And if you were not here for the first half of this book, let me briefly introduce Staircase in the Woods. The Staircase in the Woods is about a group of friends who, when they are teenagers, like 1 year away from graduating, they go on a camping trip in the woods, and then a mysterious staircase just appears out of nowhere. And one of those friends, the golden boy, essentially, the one with the good grades, the one with the possible future scholarships, the one with the role in the theater school play, you know, the one the one that everybody has hopes for, not the rest of the outcasts. That guy is like, I'm gonna walk up that staircase and I'm gonna jump off that staircase. And everybody's like, okay, I guess, like, I don't agree with you, but I'm not gonna actively stop you. So the dude walks up the stairs and he jumps, and then he just straight up disappears. And he was like, well shit, what now? And they somehow struggle to live their lives, as we all do. When they're older, one of the friends sends them a frantic email like, oh, hi everybody, I have pancreatic cancer. My last wish is to see all of you all for one last weekend. If you don't come, I will shame you and I will put guilt on you. So they're all like, okay, well, I guess we're going. They have all changed drastically from who they were as teenagers, and when they arrive at their destination, they realize it's not a hotel, not a hospital, not anybody's house. It's the freaking woods. And this man is like, okay, so maybe I don't have pancreatic cancer, but you are all coming with me on a camping trip. And they enter the woods, and he's talking about all these Reddit posts and these staircases that randomly appear in the woods, which, like, is a phenomenon, I think. And it's very creepy. I once saw a door in the woods, and just behind it, like an abandoned toilet, and it's creepy. Somebody's probably just littering, but lo and behold, they're walking for hours, and then there's a staircase. And now they're all like, well, I guess we should walk up the staircase and jump off. So they do. And they end up in a mysterious house that doesn't make any physical, logical, psychological sense. And it's literally just about them getting through it and remembering who they were as teenagers, and the relationships that they used to have when they were teenagers, just before their friend disappeared and after he disappeared. And they're all trying to just make sense of pretty much themselves, honestly, and trying to understand each other. It reminds me of multiple things. Most of all, this reminds me of if Riley Sager wrote House of Leaves. That is like the best I can give you so far. And it also reminds me, this might be so niche, I do not know how well known this is abroad, but where I live, like, nobody knows the series. Anytime I mention it, everyone's like, who? Nobody knows it, aside from like one classmate in film school who also watched it because he was also a horror fan and he would just inhale anything. It was called Channel Zero. It ran for like 4 or 5 seasons, I don't remember. I've only seen 2 of the seasons, I think, and it was either the 2nd or 3rd season that was very similar to this, where there was also a house, well, not a staircase, but it was straight up a house that appeared out of nowhere, and if you entered it, essentially nobody ever saw you walk out. It was marketed as a haunted house, you know, like those attractions that you can go into and it's supposed to scare you. Except it was so much worse than that, and it had so many more secrets than that, and I feel like this is a low-key ripoff. Mr. Wendig, I do not want to shame you. I'm sure that you have original thoughts in your head, but maybe this is not one of them. I don't know, it just feels like a mishmash of things, which is not a bad thing. I'm having a good time with it. I feel like what I just said made it come across as if I was not enjoying it because it was unoriginal. I do not think it's that original. I really don't think it, like, toots any new horns that haven't been tooted yet. But I am having a really good time with reading it. It reads extremely easy when I sit down with it. I don't necessarily want to stop reading it. It's only that I have to sleep sometimes, honestly. Otherwise, I would probably stay up until 4 AM reading this at some point. I am here. I am on page 231. And my main goal in life, honestly, is to finish this tomorrow. I would really love that, and I would love to start and finish something else. I do not know what that something else would be. I'm thinking, but this might be too ambitious for me. I'm thinking I need to fulfill one more prompt, and I think I know which book I would like to go for, or one of the books. I have some options. I need to still fulfill the prompt to read something that I have had on my TBR for over a year. And I do have some YA horror that is still on my TBR that is older than a year and I own it physically. And I'm thinking maybe one of those, because what if then I can squeeze in like a 4th book? Wouldn't that be lovely to read 4 books for Summerween? I would love it so much. Maybe if I like buckle down and like really focus on Saturday, maybe I could make it happen. That would be so nice. I would love it so much. Because I missed Summerween 2 years ago when I read like 5 books. Like granted 2 of those were novellas, but still an incredible time. That Summerween literally happened the week before I started a job I have right now. Anyway, that's my yappy intro. Wow, I hope you're enjoying this. And I will update you probably when I finish this, because listen, I have yapped for 7 minutes and I have said literally nothing of substance. So I'm gonna take myself and I'm going to go do something. Probably crochet, maybe watch the 3rd John Wick, because I've never seen it. And I low-key started it yesterday. Maybe I'm going to not do any of those things and I'm just gonna sit there and look into a wall. We're standing up today. This is unusual. It's Friday. I've had my 2 coffees. Red Bull is imminent and impending. So I'm probably gonna be running around like a headless chicken or like a bunny rabbit or something. And that's why we're standing up. I finished my book. I did not talk to you yesterday. I did not film anything yesterday. Yesterday was my day off from filming, and that's okay. Means that we have today and tomorrow of Summerween left, which is sad. It's devastating. It's not a good time. But I finished it. Just like I said I would finish it, I did. Wow, me holding to my own word. Incredible, impossible. It's probably a 3.5, which at some point I was like, this might be a 4. Might be even a 4.5 if we like fuck around enough. We didn't fuck around enough. I wanted this to be so much worse to the characters than it ever was. Granted, it was pretty bad to the characters. I'm not saying that it wasn't, but gosh darn, I really wanted it to be ruthless. I wanted people to die. I wanted people to suffer so much more than they did. I feel like the suffering that is in this book is really suffering that is from past trauma, which is a discussion I'm usually really interested in. And it's a discussion that I usually take a lot of interest in, and I like discussing those things because I think that whatever happened to you when you were a child can affect you to your children and grandchildren, honestly. So I'm kind of surprised that I didn't fuck around with it as much as I could have. I said what it was about. I explained to you what was happening. I kind of stand by it. It didn't offer anything new to me by the end. And I actually... This goes back to something that I said in the previous vlog. If you haven't seen that, I suggest you might wanna. It goes back to when I was talking about how it feels like Chuck Wenning is low-key looking for like a cookie. Like, you did so well. I feel like this entire book tries to be a discussion of violence breeding more violence and going back to after the Second World War. And I'm like, you really, I don't know. The discussion feels so forced. I cannot help it. I cannot help it. And I also feel like something also that I talked about in a previous part, there's a character in here who identifies as pansexual, gender fluid, aromantic. Polly joined the club somewhere in the second half of this book. And I feel like when these people are talking, because there are points in the book where we get to figure out like what the real trauma is behind these characters. So little effort was put into this specific character. Like, sure, they have a backstory with like a negligent mother or whatever. But when they are listing things about themselves and we're talking about themselves, what this character always goes back to, well, I'm Polly, I'm pan, I'm gender fluid. And I'm like, that's not... Girl, okay, I am demi-romantic, I am bisexual, I don't know what I am, but it doesn't even cover like 2% of all the trauma that is in my body. It goes so much deeper than that. You would not believe. And I feel like this character is pretty much compressed like a little PDF file to a low quality, so you can, like, you know, when you need something to be a smaller size, kind of compressed to their identity. Not that they ever use the pronouns they, them, or have a discussion about that, because I don't think Chick Wending knows how to have that discussion. And I kind of feel like he doesn't know how to have the discussion on violence breeding more violence either. Like, the attempt is there, I understand what he's saying, and I agree with what he's saying, but it feels like learned behavior. I don't know how else to explain it. It just feels a little disingenuous, I guess. I don't know what better way to describe it. And maybe that's part of why I didn't love it as much as I thought I would, because as a concept, this book fucks. But yeah, it's literally like Riley Sager wrote House of Leaves, and it was also inspired by Channel Zero. I stand by that. I do not know what I'm going to read next. I'm really tempted to find a novella. I'm wondering if there are any novellas by Stephen Graham Jones that I haven't read yet, because I would kind of be game for that. I really feel that kind of vibe. And then I'm going to pick a full-length novel to read. I don't know that I will finish it, but maybe I'll just lock in and read the entire day tomorrow. Everything is possible. Welcome to the last day of Summerween. It is a very rainy day. We are still sitting outside though, and I am wearing my girlfriend's Tokyo Hotel hoodie. That's just life sometimes. It is the last day of Summerween. I updated you yesterday after I got home from work, I believe, and I did finish a whole ass book that I did not update you on because I was eepy. My friends, I was so eepy that I wanted to just lay my head on a pillow and go to sleep. And so I did. I decided to read a novella. I was like, time is of the essence, might as well do it now. And I did look originally if I could find any Stephen Graham Jones, but I could not. I was interested in a novella, but all I kept finding were things that were well above 200 pages or short stories, and I really did not feel like reading a short story collection. It was just, I rarely ever feel like reading short stories. So then I looked at Tor.com because they have a lot of novellas, and still I couldn't find anything. So then I went to look at 2025 releases from them specifically, and I ended up picking up But Not Too Bold, which is a 2025 release, and it is from Tor.com. It's probably not the information you're looking for. I read it pretty much in one sitting. It felt like it was even shorter than it was. It clocked in at 112 pages is where the story itself ended. And I think I'm gonna end up giving it 3 stars. But please don't take that as a bad rating, because overall, I would recommend this book and I would gush about this book. It's just that enjoyment of it was pretty low for me. Here's the reason why. The book itself is about a young maid called Dahlia. This is translated fiction, by the way. The author is Brazilian Argentinian, so that's cool. I like the translated works that Tor.com does sometimes. There was also an Icelandic one last year. I cannot remember for the life of me what it was, but I'll pop a picture here. I'll go look for it later. I read an arc of that, I think, about a year ago, and I really loved that one as well. And this one was really fun, too. It's about a young maid named Dahlia. She lives in this huge Gothic house, and she pretty much lives on the first and second floor with the other servants in the house. They all serve the madam, and the madam is an archaic one. She is essentially like a arachnoid, humanoid something mixed between. Very creepy, very disturbing. Probably the scariest thing I've read all Summerween, because I just hate spiders so much. And they literally eat spiders, they keep tarantulas as pets, and every time it was mentioned, I just wanted to disappear out of my body. I just wanted to not exist in my skin anymore. I wanted to be somewhere where spiders don't exist. Yeah, they serve this madam, and this madam keeps brides, and then every few weeks she devours the brides because the brides get spooked, and she's like, well, might as well eat yet. So she does, which honestly, a great premise. I really like that. At the beginning of this book, the madam has the keeper of the keys. Not that I ever understood what really the position was, other than a title, but this person, this part of the staff
gets to go on the third floor where the madam lives. So her name is Anathema, by the way. So at the beginning of this book, our madam decides, yeah, it's time to snack on my current keeper of the keys. So she just has her for dinner, and it's time for our main character to become the new keeper of the keys. In the madam's defense, she did think that the keeper of the keys was stealing from her. So, like, good on her, good for her. We support women's wrongs just as much as we support their rights. So, the new person who becomes Dahlia, who becomes the keeper of the keys, the madam is like, we're going to spend the night at the library, and I'm going to figure out if you are part of this thieving scheme that's going on. And if not, then I guess you're both innocent, and I shouldn't have eaten her. Or no theft happens, and I'm also gonna eat you, because then you probably had something to do with the original theft. But another robbery happens. The thief keeps stealing these memories that the madam weaves from her little webs, which, again, so creepy. So creepy. There's a relationship that develops between them. It's like soft monster romance, I guess. Nothing explicit happens, though. Very sapphic. In the meantime, Dahlia is trying to figure out who really committed the thefts in the first place, which she eventually does. It was so short. This novella suffered from a problem that I have a lot of the time with novellas, where they just don't feel complete. I feel like so many scenes got left out, and so many things just were never discussed because we were rushing to the end so hard. This book is 112 pages, and it felt like I were 20, because I feel like so little was told to me by the end of it, and that's why I gave it a low rating. Other than that, I really, really liked the writing, and I liked the main theme of it even more. I genuinely really adored what it had to say about somebody's needs to be seen and the fear of not wanting to be seen at the same time. How terrifying it can be to be vulnerable around somebody, especially if you have met with rejection before. Because sure, the madam is scary, she's creepy, she has limbs that she should not have as a human person, but at the end of the day, what really breaks her down and makes her soften is when our Dahlia is like, well, I've seen you and I'm not scared of you. And Anathema is like, stop, you're gonna make me cry. That's literally all it took, was just like a little bit of human touch, if you know what I mean with human touch. The topic, the way it was explored, I'm a huge fan of. I just genuinely feel like this could have been a full-length novel, and it would have benefited from that, because I feel like I got about 50% of what I could have gotten from this book. I am really glad I read it. I never planned on reading it. I was aware of its existence prior to my scrambling to find something to read, but it never really grabbed my interest. I don't particularly like the cover. I don't find it alluring. From the synopsis, I really didn't get much either, so I don't think I would have picked it up otherwise. Like I said, it is a 3-star book because I wanted so much more from it, but at the same time, the parts of it that I liked, really liked. I really hope that the author writes, or it gets translated. I don't know if it exists in her native language. I hope that there's a full-length novel that I get to read one day from this person, because it was really great. The chapter of our life is closed. We are sitting outside today on the last day of Summerween. I don't think I can finish one more book, especially considering it's past 4 p.m. and I haven't started anything. I have not read a single page today. But I have hopes and I have dreams. And with my hopes and dreams in mind, I picked up a book to fulfill the last prompt that I have yet to fill. And that is to read something that I have owned for over a year. It is a horror book. It is YA. It is relatively short, like 339 pages. So I think I might have like a chance at getting through most of it, at least, if not all of it. And if not, I'll finish it tomorrow and still count it towards Summerween, because you can't stop me. What are you, the Summerween police? No. I decided to pick up I Feed Her to the Beast, and the Beast is Me by Jameson Shea. I also am nostalgic about this book. I picked this book up in Vienna in December 2023 when we went to see Hosier in Vienna. I have such fond memories of that whole trip, even though it was minus 75,000 degrees outside and we were freezing the entire time, but it was still so lovely. I loved it. So I picked up this book there. I have no idea what it's about. I was just aware of it at the time. I think it's a 2023 release. So it is about time that I finally read it. I haven't read YA. I was looking for a thriller originally because I haven't read a thriller for the Summerween, but honestly, I don't really have any leftovers on my shelf currently, and I was not about to create a fictional story about how I have been meaning to read this, but I don't own it physically, and so it's on my mental TBR. No. I just wanted to read something physical from my TBR that I actually own and have owned for more than a year, so this is what's going to happen. I also have a bookmark that I picked up at the bookstore. I think my girlfriend picked it out for me. I picked out a bookmark for her as well. It's with cats. She picked out this one for me. There's a little egg at the top, and it says I like books, but the I is spelled like egg in German, and I think it's so freaking adorable. I love it. So I'm gonna use that. And I will update you on the actual plot of this when I have read a little bit, which I'm going to do now. I'm kind of excited to just settle down and read. It is, like I said, gloomy, rainy, perfect for the end of Summerween, I think. Very vibey. So yeah, most of all, I'm just happy to be home, settled, chill, peaceful.
To be fully transparent with you, Summerween has been over for over a week. What's still ongoing though is me not having my shit together whatsoever, and that's why we're here so late. I so desperately need to talk about the last book and then do the outro to this vlog. I did not talk to you about the last book I read for this readathon, like, whatsoever. I Feed Her to the Beast, and The Beast Is Me was a 4-star read for me. For a second I thought it might be a 5. I would recommend this to anybody who enjoys YA thriller and horror and wants to slowly switch over into adult, because I picked this because I thought it would be a quick YA read, because technically it is YA, but it is very much written like an adult novel. It is a little dense, on the dense side, like there's not that much dialogue on that page to be found, and I liked it. I think the writing is my favorite part of this. The plot is fine. I really liked it. The second part that I liked the most, I guess, aside from the writing, is the characters, especially the main character. I think that our main character is going to be a problem for a lot of people, because our main character is not necessarily a great person, and I love that. It reminded me of, this is like such a wild comparison, and I don't know that it will tell anything to anybody, but there's a movie called There Will Be Blood, and that movie is essentially about the character arc of somebody who goes from a good person to a villain, I guess. If I want to simplify it and put it in very, very basic terms, it is how a protagonist becomes an antagonist, and how somebody can be their own antagonist. I thought it was really interesting. I cannot say that I completely understood every choice that was made here, or that all of it was very well, like, emotionally developed, especially at the beginning. But that being said, contextually and with everything that was discussed here, so I guess thematically, it makes so much sense, and I love a character arc like this. It's not completely, like I just mentioned, it's more about, I guess, embracing, let's call it a monster, the monster within you. I don't even think that that's like a perfect metaphor for it, but in a way it works. If you don't know, I never told you what this was about. This is about a ballet dancer who is pretty much the only black dancer in the company, aside from one other guy, and we are following a girl, so she's the only black girl in the company. And it is set in Paris. She's trying desperately to finish her school and then to get into the Paris Ballet Company, and it is about the cutthroat nature of that job. But it is also about feeling othered, and it's about feeling like you're lesser, and other people letting you know constantly that they think you are lesser, and what that can do to you as a person. And we can look at that from the lens of classism, but we can also look at that through the lens of sexism, racism. This book manages to talk about a lot of things for its length, because at the end of the day, it's not the longest book ever. It's barely over 300 pages, but I think it really packs a punch. It was great. I really enjoyed it. The ending got a little off rails for me. That's why it's a 4 and not a 5. I kind of wanted it to end differently, but that's me truly wanting the darkest shit to happen all the time. And that always, I swear to God, I remember this thread every day of my life. It's a thread that was posted on Twitter back when it was still Twitter by Andrew Joseph White, where they talked about the difference between YA horror and adult horror, and that makes me so excited for the adult book that Andrew Joseph White has coming out later this year. I am so excited because I literally talk about that discussion literally every single day. I thought about it yesterday and I thought about it the day before. Literally yesterday I was thinking to myself, maybe I should stop thinking about that so much, but I can't, because that is the truest discussion on horror when it comes to those things that I've ever read, because it talks about how YA horror is about teaching you that you can get through the dark shit and come out the other side, whereas adult horror can oftentimes be, sometimes you're just stuck in the shit and the shit is just relentless, and it's such a good time. Anyway, 4 stars, overall a successful read. Overall a successful readathon. Moving on to like a general wrap-up, outro, whatever you want to call it. These are the 2 things that I read physically. I had a great time with both of them, honestly, even though this one kind of fades. It's been like 2 weeks since I finished this, and it's already fading from my memory quite a bit. But I read 4 things, and that is excellent for me. I am so happy with that. You would not believe. I am really, really, really happy with that. I finished 2-3 books in this vlog, I want to say. That's kind of... what was I doing in those last 5 days? That's why it was 5 days instead of 4. But anyway, this was read. I had a great time with Summerween. I feel like I don't necessarily take part in other community things, but I love watching the vlogs. It's like my favorite time of the year, honestly. If you have put out a Summerween vlog and you somehow ended up in this corner of the internet, please let me know in the comments, because I would love to watch it. Truly, I inhale that stuff. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Gabby for organizing Summerween. It is my favorite. I'm not gonna lie to you. Right now, I know that I said in like a couple previous videos that I was going to do a random number generator. When I tell you that I have read 4 out of 5 books that I wanted to read for the vlog, and I think I'm just going to scrap all of that because it's just not bringing me joy, and that's why it's just gonna not be in existence anymore. Instead, I am super excited for a video I want to do in August, so I should be starting that in about a week or so. I might do the intro sooner because I'm so excited to get going on it, but I hope you will enjoy. I'm hoping to enjoy. I have some dreams and plans for that vlog, and we'll see what happens. Otherwise, I am going to put these on my read pile for the month, and then I'm going to go finish Wrath by John Gwynne, because in a week that we have not spoken, I read all 660 pages of that, and I need to finish that ASAP. I don't think it's going to be as good as Ruin. You don't care about this. This is a completely different vlog, but I just needed to update you. Other than that, what I have going for me is I booked an impromptu tattoo appointment on Saturday, so I'm gonna spend like 4 or 5 hours in a chair. Why? I don't know, because the artist was like, I'll do it for you for cheaper because I like you, and also I want this in my portfolio, so that's what we're gonna do. So I was like, listen, I would be stupid to say no at this point, because it's going to be like about this big, like it's going to be at least 20 centimeters, and she was like, I'll do it for 200 euros for you. Do you even know how cheap that is? America's probably gasping right now, but even for Europe, that is so super cheap. And it's color. Like, I would be stupid to say no. So I just said, yeah, sure, let's do it. Let's do it. So we're gonna do it. It's going to mirror my other huge tattoo, which I don't think you've ever seen. Oh my god, I was not vlogging at all last year. But I got the outside of my thigh tattooed completely last year. It was a grand time. So I'm gonna do that on the other leg now. And other than that, I don't really have anything else going for me. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you being here. I truly appreciate your presence so much. You have no idea. With every single view, it gives me a tickle and it makes my day all that brighter. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, that's it for me. I'm gonna get in my comfies. I'm gonna sit on the couch and I'm gonna read my book. As you should. You know, what better things to do? Yeah, thank you again. Like, subscribe, comment. I would appreciate you all the more for that, but I'm not going to pressure anyone into anything because honestly, this should just be a fun thing. Don't feel the need that you have to engage. You don't. If you're here, you watched it, and now you want to click out, have a good day. That goes for everybody. Everybody should have a good day, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, toodles!